Bonjour les citoyens! Welcome to the second playthrough of the solo variant of 1793, Patriots and Traitors. Guess we'll start where we left off the last time. We are beginning round 3 now. It's now Pluviose 1793, or the end of January, beginning of February of 1793. As usual, at the start of a round, every NAF, non-active faction, receives a single card from the draw pile. Which faction starts this round? As you can see, we have a tie in the National Convention area. So the most radical of the tie begins. And in this case, it's the Cordelier NAF. In a previous turn, the Cordelier NAF has activated Jean-Paul Marat. So he will add 1 influence from his pile to the Faubourg area each turn. So that's what we're going to do. That's the first thing we're going to do. There we go. Then it's time to flip his card. That's not such good news. It's a 2 Paris card. And it's the Duke of Brunswick that is entering France now. As you can see, it must be played immediately because there's an immediate to play symbol on it, an I symbol. So he's going to be marching into the Alsace. He's not encountering any resistance. There's no revolutionary general there. So this is incomprehensible to the people of Paris. So the majority in the National Convention bears the brunt of the people's anger and loses 3 influence. But as you can see, there is no majority in the National Convention. So what happens is that both the Cordeliers and the Girondins lose 1 influence to their pile. Since the NAF received an immediate to play card, a second card must therefore be drawn. Oh. Still no luck. This time it's the Austrians coming in. It's the Graf von Clerfay that is now entering France. As you can see, it's an immediate to play card once again. And you can see they will be entering via Brussels into Picardy. Oh, I forgot to add a purple influence here. So the Alsace province is now, because the Prussians arrived, is now royalist. Let's get back to the northern front. So the Austrians have marched from Brussels into Picardy, but luckily we have our good friend Lafayette standing there ready to block the Austrians. But will he succeed? That's the question. As we can see, the Marquis de Lafayette has 1 military insight here. That's his cockade. So that's 1 point. And then in the Kaserne here, he has 1 devoted loyal troop. So that brings his total up to 2. Say, for example, he had 2 extra here. He would have 3 plus another one is 4. But that's not the case. So he has 2. And the Graaf van Clerfay has 2 points. Plus, we also count all the royalist influence on the France board. There's 1, so that means this is added to his military insight. So that's 3 versus 2. So that means the Marquis de Lafayette has lost the battle and he must retreat. So he retreats into Paris, and since the Austrians now have Picardy, it receives another royalist influence. Since Lafayette was unable to stop the Austrians, the Feuillants faction, who has activated Lafayette, loses popularity. It loses up to 2 influence from the National Convention and up to 2 influence from the Faubourg. So he now lost all his influence in the National Convention. And now the Girondins, Jacobins, and Cordeliers alone rule the government. So as you can see, the Austrians are knocking on Paris' door. So since the NAF drew another immediate play card, a third card must therefore be drawn. No misery this time. Luckily, he now draws a spy card. Unfortunately, there's no matching Cordelier faction symbol on the bottom of the card. Therefore, the Cordelier NAF will have to influence a player board with one single influence. As mentioned on the bottom of the card, you'll have to try to influence either the Girondins or the Jacobins. But which one? He already has an influence on the moderate Girondin NAF player board, but now the Jacobin faction is also targeted. Let's have a look at the back of the rules, what they say. The Jacobin faction will always choose to influence the Cordelier faction and vice versa. So that means the Jacobin and the Cordeliers will always try to influence each other. So this means that the Cordelier will add one influence to my player board, which isn't bad news actually. So next in line is the Girondin NAF. Let's see what he has drawn. He has also drawn a spy card of one cockade. I mean, when you look at the bottom of the card, we can see a matching Girondin symbol. Therefore, the NAF can use it to place influence on the Paris board. We always look to the left of the faction symbol, and here it shows the Palais Égalité area symbol. The NAF places one influence on the Palais Égalité area. This is advantageous for me as it ensures that I can keep a majority here in the Palais Égalité, at least for the moment. So now it's my turn, the Jacobins. Let's see what I have. Now, at this moment, I'm stuck with a dilemma. I'm unable to draw 3 cards because I have no majority in the Notre Dame area. Those damn conservatives have blocked me, but I do have a press token. This could solve my problem because then I will be able to add one influence on the Notre Dame for my stock. And then next turn I'll be able to draw 3 cards. I could also use that one influence. Instead of placing it on the Notre Dame, I could also place it on one of the NAFs so I could influence their player boards. The problem is if I can draw 3 cards next turn, it might be an Austrian, and then we'll be toast also. So I'm going to use this press token, and I'm going to add one influence from my stock. And I'm going to place it on the Notre Dame. This means I have a majority, so this will allow me to draw 3 cards from the pile. So let's see what we get. An uprising of one cockade is a good one. It will take away the influence of a rival or royalist from a province. A to Paris card, which isn't good, but at this moment it's not that much of a problem because it shows the Dutch. A Dutch commander, and they're not in the game yet. They have not been activated. And what else? We got a general, Charles Pichegru. So that's very good. We need to defend the revolution, and we need to defend France. So this will allow me to activate Charles Pichegru, and I will have myself a general. So that's good news. So that was my turn. So finally it's the Feuillon NAF's turn. Let's see what he has drawn. He has drawn a J'accuse card with 3 cockades. But it's no good news. If you look at he is mentioned on the bottom of the card. If you look to the left of his symbol, he first places influence on the temple prison area. And there are still two spaces vacant. So he's going to fill them right up. And he places a third influence on the Notre Dame. If you look to the right, you'll see the symbol of the Notre Dame here. So he's going to place it there. So there's once again a tie in the Notre Dame. So next round I will not be able to take 3 cards from the pile. Which I couldn't anyhow, but... damn you conservatives. On these bad results, we end the 3rd round. But before the next round begins, we must find out if a law will be posed. As you can see, there's no majority in the National Convention because there's a tie between 3 factions. Therefore, a law card is blindly drawn from the law card pile. So let's see what it's going to be. It's the law of the maximum. So that's not a bad law to have. The player with a majority in the faubourg area is allowed to perform 2 actions every turn. Now if I can get a majority in the faubourg, that would be good. Cockades on all cards are worth only 1 influence, but not in the Palais Égalité. So I don't have any problems with that. And drawn angry mob cards are neutralized if this law passes. This is a good way to keep the power in the National Convention. So, the 4th round, the round marker is moved 1 position to the right. It is now Ventose 1793. And what are we going to do first? We're going to give all the players, all the NAFs, a card. There we go. And that's what we do. The most radical in the Convention Nationale opens the round. As you can see, there's a tie, but the most radical goes, and it's the Cordelier. What he's first going to do is he's going to make use of his Champon Marat to add another influence cube on the Faubourg. And he's also now going to be able to vote on the law of the maximum, since there's a law that has been proposed. The faction symbol is on his faction symbol is on the bottom of the card, so he's going to add his influence or his vote to the oui area of the voting box. Now we're going to have a look at which card that he took. He drew a printing press card. Influence the people to support your cause. Gain 5 influence from your stock to your pile. So, I don't need to explain any more about that. So he's going to take 5 from his stock. And he's going to add it to his pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. So that was the turn of the Cordelier. Now it's the moderate Girondin Naf. He's in the National Convention and he can vote, but will he vote oui or no? Oui or no? There's no Girondin faction symbol on the law card. So in general, he's against this law. There's a Feuillon and a Cordelier influence on his player board, but there's no majority. So he's going to vote no. Let's now see which card de Girondin has been dealt. He has been dealt the revolutionary leader Philippe Ronsin, but as you can see, he cannot activate it because it's Cordelier, an ultra-radical revolutionary leader. But you can see a symbol on the bottom here. So he's going to take 1 influence and he's going to place it. We always look to the left first. And he's going to place it on the Notre Dame area. So we can see that the Notre Dame is now completely filled. Now it's my own turn. The Jacobins. So I have 5 cards. Let's see. As I promised last time, I will activate Charles Pichegru. This will give me, if I win victories, this will give me, gain me popularity and influence. So that's good to have. And I can also save France. So I'm going to activate Charles Pichegru. There we go. And I'm going to take my general with the letter P of Charles Pichegru. And I'm going to add him to the France board. And I'm going to add him to Paris. This way we have now 2 generals there. We can combine our armies and we will be a little bit stronger. Finally, it's the turn of the Feuillon Naf. Now, let's hope it's not a Baron de Batz card, because if it's a Baron de Batz card, as you can see, the Prison du Temple is filled with the yellow. If he draws a Baron de Batz card, then he wins the game immediately. So let's hope it's not a Baron de Batz card. He has been dealt the leader card Colo d'Herbois, which is almost just as bad as the Baron de Batz, actually. He cannot activate him because Colo d'Herbois belongs to the Jacobin or the Cordelier faction. But the card does have the matching faction symbol underneath. This will allow the Feuillon Naf to place 2 influence on the National Convention. This not only gives the Feuillon a majority in the government, but will also allow him to vote immediately. So he places 2 there. Oh, I forgot to vote as a Jacobin. Sorry, it's a we, of course. I forgot that on the last turn. There we go. But now it's the Feuillon who's going to have to vote. Like the Girondin Naf, his symbol is not below the law of the maximum. So in principle, he's against this law. And since he's most allied to the Girondin at this moment, he will follow the Girondin, and it's going to be no. So we now have, at the end of the round, we have a tie in the government for the law of the maximum. Ties are not allowed, so this law will not be passed. It will not be activated, unfortunately. So the 4th round comes to an end. The revolution is now hanging from a thread. History might be written. We have the Baron de Batz. If we can take him, Louis XVI will be saved. And we have on the side, we have the Prussians coming in, and we have the Austrians coming in. We're going to flip a new card to see what will be proposed next round, because we have the Feuillon as a majority. It's universal suffrage. There's no symbols below, so this can be voted by anybody, which is good. So that's going to be voted for in the next round. So I urgently need to influence at least one of the Nafs by placing influence on their board. That will help me, so that will give me more control of the Nafs. And I also need to take a cube from the temple, Prison du Temple, because if the Baron de Batz is drawn, then Louis XVI will be saved. What is even better, if I can send Louis XVI to the guillotine, then I won't have to worry about that anymore. And I need to gather an army of devoted loyal troops here in the Kaserne, which will make my Charles Pichegru stronger, and then I can go and push the Austrians and the Prussians out. So that's what I hope will happen in the future, but we'll see. As you can see in the solo variant, you need to basically gain and then keep control over the game and the chaos of the revolution. That is the challenge. In that regard, 1793 is actually a puzzle. There are a number of ways to do this. but you might have to play a few sessions first in order to find them. Once you learn what all the cards and the laws can do, it will become much easier. But the actions of the NAF will offer a new challenge each time you play the game. Therefore, sometimes you will succeed and sometimes you won't. But you'll always get better. You will evolve. So that was my second run through of the solo variant of 1793 Patriots and Traitors. Thank you for watching, and vive la révolution!